Greetings. My name is Enockjones, and I welcome you to the first episode of the Cast Show in 2026 in February, the month of love. I come into your space today with something very short but very important. Something that almost everybody, not really almost everybody, but everyone has to know. We are going to have a very short discussion about starting. Yes, you got me right. It's about starting. And I will give 3 points about our topic of discussion today, and we will end our discussion. And at the end, all I want is for value to be given to you. So, what is it about starting that I would want to share with you? Firstly, you cannot start unless you think of something. Meaning you have to put your mind to work. Put it to work on thinking about ideas, thinking of ideas, thinking about solutions to different things, thinking about what you can do. It all begins with a faculty called the mind. If you cannot think of anything, you cannot start what you didn't think about. Everybody that has ever started anything was thinking about something. So you have to sit down, dedicate time to think about something. Dedicate time to just meditate, to sit quietly in a place without distraction. Mostly those people that have invented things, when you read how they came about these things that we use today, they had a quiet time. So in that quiet time, ability to think without distraction produces a result that is so profound that it can help you get to a point where you want to get. And when you are thinking, think about a lot of things, think of a lot of things, have different ideas. And once you have those different ideas, you now begin to narrow down which one do you think is paramount, which one is more, let's say, beneficial or maybe profitable than the other. But you cannot have those options if you did not sit and think about something. Maybe you've got skills. Maybe you want to have skills. Think about that thing. Like, what do you want to be? Like, who do you want to be? One man said there's a difference between who you want to be and what you want to be. So, you sit down, you project who you want to be, and look at what you need to be who you want to be. And all that begins by thinking. If you can't sit and think about something, you will never start it. Sometimes something can cross your mind, but if you still just don't sit down and think about it, some people have had good ideas, but because they've never sat down to think about those ideas, they've never actually started to work on the idea. They've never started. And I do not want that to be the same case with you. Those that are around me can attest to say the difference between me and a lot of people is that I do not wait for tomorrow. So when I think of, I act fast. That's one thing about me. Right now, I opened a social media marketing agency. I have a public speaking school. I have a graphics design company and agency with my friend. And the social media marketing agency is with a very, very amazing mind, a friend of mine also. We started. We thought about it. Number two. So that was just think about something. And number two, what you have to do is have the desire to start. But now, this desire to start, how do you desire something? You can only desire something after you think about it so much that it begins to create into you abilities to imagine yourself holding that position, imagining yourself being where you want to be. That gets to fuel you to even start doing. Without that desire, it is going to be very difficult for you to start. So the thinking process, right? The thinking process itself births in you creative ability to think of yourself as who you are supposed to be. Even how you address yourself, your behavior, your routines will change based off the picture that you've seen that was driven from your thinking about something. So you have to have the desire. If the desire is not there, then it's difficult. It is. It is. And desire, there's a reason why they say a burning desire. Because every time you sit, it comes. Every time you just doze off, it comes. Because it's a desire. And the desire has to be fulfilled. That's the nature of a desire. A desire has to be fulfilled. A desire has to be fulfilled. So when you are able now to have that desire in you, it changes how you see yourself. It changes how you see things. Now you begin to see things in a perspective of your idea fitting in. You begin to see where your idea can change or where your idea can be applied. You begin to see where a lot of things are aligned to your idea. Have you ever wondered, sometimes you find that, let's say this time we had Valentine's, right? You just noticed a lot of red and white. It's not that people, this is the first time people put, this is the first time you're seeing people, but it was just a lot of them. Why? Because your mind was focused on Valentine's. So it began to align everything that you see around you with what? With Valentine's. That's what a desire gets to do. When you have that desire, it gives you ability to creatively create who you want to be, what you want to get at, what do you want to be, what do you want to achieve. When you begin to think about that, it gives you the ability to imagine. And imagination are things we cannot live without. You can't live without imagination. Then it means you don't have the visual help. Because imagination makes you see. When we were young, nobody stopped us from wanting to be Spider-Man. We visualized it. We so believed that we can be Spider-Man. For years we believed. And whenever we see a spider, we could relate to being Spider-Man. We would want a spider to actually, I don't know if it's sting, I don't know if it's bite, I don't know. But what I'm trying to say is that helps you into visualizing, changing your mindset, changing your routines, changing the way you think of yourself, the way you think about yourself, the way you think of your future, the way you think about your future. It changes. So the desire is very important. Last but not the least, start now. Why tomorrow? Why do you want to start tomorrow? Why not now? What's wrong with now? This is a question that you have to ask if at all you like to procrastinate. What's the problem with now? What's wrong with starting now? What are the disadvantages of starting now? What is it? Is tomorrow very special than today? Is tomorrow having a guaranteed success than today? Is tomorrow not a day like today? You see, when you begin to think that tomorrow is better than today, then you will start procrastinating. And when you begin to procrastinate just like that, you will never achieve anything. You will never. One character of people that will do things is the sense of agency. Like you have to be agent. Agency is very important. But a procrastinator cannot have agency because they feel like tomorrow is better. Tomorrow promises better chances of success than today. You do not think of something and postpone the action for tomorrow. You will never do it. You won't. And do you know one thing about tomorrow? This is one thing that I learned myself about tomorrow. Tomorrow will be today. And it will promise another tomorrow. Today will be yesterday. The present tends to past, and the future tends to be the present. That's it. So tomorrow is not promising better chances. Actually, one thing that you have to understand is that inspiration has got a lifespan. Have you ever watched a video and then you felt so motivated that you are going to start something, that after some time, if you don't do what you were motivated to do, you are back to the person that you were even before you watched the video, because it has a lifespan. So what am I trying to say? For you to start, you need to dedicate yourself to these three things. You need to think of something. I know people say think of systems, but you cannot think of systems on something you've not started. So you start. You'll begin to perfect the thing that you've started on your way. If you're going to wait for a perfected idea, you might not have it. You might waste time in perfecting, whilst others have launched their ideas out there and they are reaping from their ideas. Don't wait for a perfect idea. Start, and you will grow whatever you have started. You will improve it. You will set up systems. There are some people who don't even know about systems, yet they created them because it was a requirement of their growth for whatever they started to move to the next level. All I'm telling you today is you do not need to perfect the whole idea for you to start. That's why a lot of people don't start. But I'm in your space today, advising and telling you as a fellow friend that all you have to do is start. This Castro, I started in my room at school. And I told them, I said, I'm going to have a lot to bring out from this podcast. And they thought I was joking. The idea started then. I wrote a script about what I was going to do for the first day. I met a friend. The friend that I met, who is the first person in this episode, Chansakawin, did not know that I was going to have an interview with her. Just met her. I told her, oh, I want to ask you some questions about the business that you do in school. Then that's it. We had our first episode. Did it have a lot of views? No, but I started. At least I didn't have 0 views, because you have 0 views if you didn't start. But I started. So you also have to start whatever you feel like you have to start.